Today I'm going to show you how to bake a Gochujang sourdough bread full of whole cloves of garlic and green onions. Maybe it's the best thing you'll ever have. Hi, I'm Sune and I'm a food geek. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Gochujang sourdough bread. If you don't know, Gochujang is a Korean fermented spicy soybean paste, and it comes in different levels of spiciness, from mild to extremely hot. The one I'm using is very hot. It's used in Korean cooking for various dishes like bibimbap, stews, soups, and salads. It's very popular in Korea, and it seems to be spreading around the world. I even saw Google did a dry aging experiment with Gochujang, which went very well. Super interesting video. It goes extremely well with sourdough bread, so I decided to give you my take on this bread. If you're new to this channel, I bake a lot of sourdough bread and I make delicious food from all over the world. If you want to see more of this content, please join me by subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss any future videos. The dough that we're making today is 80% bread flour and 20% whole grain spelt flour. If you don't have spelt, you can substitute with any other grain of your choice or just even use bread flour. The hydration is 75%, so not super high, but high enough for that extended shelf life and a more open crumb. The salt content is a bit over 2% and the inoculation is 20%. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider becoming a member at Patreon. You can also buy some merch or use the links in the description for tools and ingredients. Those were the words. This is the recipe.
The written recipe, the ingredients, and the amounts are linked in the description. To a mixing bowl, add 426 grams of water, 100 grams of gochujang, 13 grams of salt. Mix until it's completely dissolved. Then mix up 486 grams of bread flour, 117 grams of whole grain spelt flour. Then add it to the gochujang mixture. Then add 117 grams of sourdough starter. Mix it up with your hands until all the flour has been hydrated. Let the dough rest for an hour. While the dough is resting, prepare 100 grams of peeled garlic cloves and 60 grams of green onions or scallions. It's about 3 green onions. Cut them finely. Then it's time for the first set of stretch and folds. We'll also mix in the inclusions. Add about 1/4 of the garlic cloves and green onions on the top of the dough. Then do a stretch and fold. Add more garlic and green onions. And do another stretch and fold. And surprise, surprise, add about half of what you have left of garlic and green onions. Then do yet another stretch and fold. Then add the rest of the garlic and green onions. And do the last stretch and fold. Let the dough rest for 30 minutes. Then do a second set of stretch and folds. And let the dough rest for 30 minutes. Then do the final set of stretch and folds. The dough should feel strong and elastic now. Put the dough in a bulking container. Mark where the top of the dough is with a whiteboard marker. Then put the dough in a warm place and let it grow by 25%. When it's grown, it's time to divide and pre-shape. Divide the dough into 2 equally sized pieces. Use your bench scraper to shape each dough into a loose ball. Once the doughs have been shaped, let them rest on the kitchen counter for 20 minutes. When the 20 minutes are up, final shape them into batards. I'm using the Tartine stitch method. Flour the top of the dough. Flip it over. Move any cloves that are on the edges to the middle of the dough, and tease the dough into a square. Then fold the bottom up halfway, the right side into the middle, the left side all the way over. And the top to the middle and tuck the edges in. Then stitch the top, the middle, and the bottom. Grab a Banneton, spritz it lightly with water, flour it with rice flour. Then move the dough to the Banneton. Shape the other dough the exact same way. Put them both in bags and let them rest in the fridge for at least 8 hours and up to 48 hours. When you're ready to bake, heat your oven to 260 degrees Celsius, 500 degrees Fahrenheit, with a baking steel and a Dutch oven inside. I'm using my Challenger bread pan. If you'd like to see my opinion on this piece of gear, watch the video in the card above. When the oven's been heating for an hour, grab the first dough from the fridge. Dust the bottom of the dough with rice flour to help it slide off the peel when putting it in the oven. Flip the dough onto the peel. I'm not going to add any additional rice flour on top, but if you like that look, you can. Then score the dough. I'm going for a classic ear score. Then add the bread to the Dutch oven. Put the lid on top and bake for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the lid and reveal the bread. Nice! Then bake until the bread is done. In my oven, 25 minutes is appropriate, and it might be less or more in your oven. Then when the bread is done, remove it from the oven and let it cool on a wire rack. Turn the oven up again and bake the other bread the exact same way. Now they're done. Want to see how gorgeous they look?
We go to New Jersey, your eyes seen, I'll be worried. You said it was nothing, but I know you get buried. The sorrow of us, the sorrow of us. How did we end up here?
Whoa! The color, the crust, the crumb. That bread is just pure perfection. The smell of the bread is just absolutely amazing. It's perfect for eating beside almost any dish, or what bread doesn't come to life with a good amount of butter. So just go ahead and make it. Your mouth and your stomach will thank you. I hope you learned something today. See you next time.